All right, Smell Good family. Got something great for y'all. So, a lot of you guys have been requesting me to, hey D, can you smell this cologne? Can you smell this cologne? And at this point in my journey, I'm not really seeking out clones. You know, I'm just not seeking them out. And I talk some clones here and there, but I'm not really seeking out newer clones. But I finally found a way to not purchase these bottles. I've been looking for a place to get samples, and I have found a place where I can get samples of these clone fragrances that you guys have been wanting me to smell. All right, so I just got the first package in, and we're going to smell one of the ones that I've been asked the most to smell. And which one is that? I guess you're going to have to keep watching and see, or fast forward. Let's get started with today's video. YouTube, what's going on? YouTube, what is going on? What is happening, man? Of course, it's your guy one more time, DEDRICKHICKSJR, and now I'm back with another fragrance video. Smell Good family. Hopefully everyone is doing well, doing great, doing fantastic. And as always, man, it's positive energy, it's positive vibes, and most importantly, it is positive vibes only. All right, so today we are back with another episode of What's in the Bag. And I gotta shout out, I think his name is BTS Sense or BT Sense. And I was just watching some content. He came across my my algorithm, and he had some really dope content. But he caught my interest with a collab that he's working with. I don't know, maybe it's a partnership. There we go, a partnership with CloneDecanted.ca. I said, okay. So I heard what he had to say, and I went in and I made a purchase. All right, because you guys have been asking me to smell and try some of these cologne fragrances from Lattafa and Paris Corner and you know, the different ones out there. So just got my first package in, and the fragrance that we're going to be smelling today, that I have been asked to smell this fragrance and give my thoughts on this fragrance for quite some time, and that is from Lattafa. And today we're going to be smelling Vintage Radio. Vintage Radio. All right, so I'll link what was it, Clone Decant. I have their card right here that came, CloneDecanted.ca. I'll link it down in the description. Really good prices. I was able to get me like 6 or 7 decants. These are like 2 ml sizes, more than enough to try. And I got some of them in that you guys have been asking me. So here's a package here, and over the next few weeks we'll tap in. So this Vintage Radio is supposed to be a take on Initials, my God, what is it? Initials Paragon. Initials Paragon, that sweet, beautiful plum gem. All right, so let's see what we get here. And is it close? Is Lattafa on to something? Are y'all tripping? Do you need this? If you have Paragon, or if you have Paragon, do you need this? Let's see what's up. So we're gonna spray this on my right hand here. There's something on my left hand. I don't know what though. Oh, I do know what it is. Ooh, yeah, in the air. Definitely get Paragon in the air. But I get a lot more, like, it's a booming vanilla going on here. Booming, kind of thick vanilla in the air. I do get that sweet, juicy plum in the air. Not a real big push on the Palo Santo that you get with it. With Rehab. Oh, not Rehab. With yeah, is it Rehab? I don't even know what I'm smelling. Paragon. Oh, interesting. All right, let's see what we get here. Okay, definitely in the vein. Definitely in the vein. Getting a lot of vanilla here. A lot of vanilla, a lot of sweet here. The plum is underneath, but it's underneath the, whatever the sweetness is, vanilla or amber, whatever it is. It's really underneath that. Get a little bit of the Palo Santo. There is a woodsy presence kind of hovering around here, but it's not standing out. It does smell good, but it's really sweet. This is really sweet, way more sweeter than Paragon. like at least to my nose, because when I get over the Paragon, you get the plum and the Palo Santo, and then you get that ambery vanilla hovering around that, you know. So it's kind of like vice versa, yin and yang, what you get with Vintage Radio. But it does smell good. I can see why the conversation is out there, and a lot of people really appreciate this one. And, you know, they say they don't have to get Paragon, you know, because of Vintage Radio. I'm not going to go that far. Starting to dry down into something. Let's see what the notes are. Drying down to something nice. It is good. It does smell good. Like, I don't have anything negative to say. But in the, you know, comparison to Paragon, there are some differences that really stand out. So we're gonna read the notes. Here we go. This is a 2023 release from the House of Lattafa from the Pride collection. All right. So here we go. Main accords, Accordo to Parfumo, sweet, creamy, fruity, spicy, and woody. Okay. Top notes: bergamot, lavender, and sage. In the heart, plum, Palo Santo, black pepper. In the base, amberwood and sandalwood. I'm definitely getting like some kind of like this ambery sweetness from somewhere. Now it's starting to dry down. Really starting to get his act together. Okay. Yeah, the plum is really starting to kind of hang out. That vanilla sweetness or ambery, whatever it is. It's not listed here, but it's there. It's really starting to kind of pull back a bit. The plum is really starting to kind of walk to the front of the stage here. The woods are right behind the plum. I'm not getting a lot of woods off of my skin here. It's good. Now, in the vein of Paragon, for sure, like super duper in the vein of Paragon, does smell good. I do understand the conversation. I do understand why this has a lot of hype and a lot of people really rock with this one. I really, really do. But I'm going to say what I say all the time. You know, I'll never recommend a clone over the original. All right. But, you know, I do understand that, hey, everybody ain't trying to spend X, Y, and Z on a niche fragrance. I understand the conversation. Like, hey, if I could spend a fourth of the price, third of the price, and get in the vein and get, you know, as much of the experience of the original with that, I'm cool. I get that too. I understand it. I understand the layer of, hey, you know, save up some money and get that niche fragrance and, you know, kind of chill on buying tons of clones. I get that. And I'm not really here to take a side because I don't have a side or I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't have a runner in the race. I just want, you know, I'm a believer in, hey, do what you want to do and be happy. That's it. But I am a fragrance reviewer and I, you know, love the conversations of kind of these comparisons to clones versus OGs. Now, back to Vintage Radio. It is good. The plum is really starting to kind of take center stage here. I am getting a little bit of a dry wood that's really starting to kind of show up even more. Not really getting the biggest Palo Santo representation here. It's more of a dry wood. I'm sure Palo Santo has this kind of, it's almost like this smoky kind of, in my opinion at least, it's kind of smoky wood. It's smoke wood that gives off this different kind of fling, you know, to a fragrance, that style of wood. But Vintage Radio is getting more like of a dry, like almost kind of like a cedar woodish. But it's kind of nitpicking, so I'm not trying to nitpick and dissect. So my overall analysis is Vintage Radio is good. I understand the conversation. Is there a difference between this and Paragon? Yes, there is. All right. Is it something for me that I would say, hey, if I had Vintage Radio first, I wouldn't have never entertained Paragon? No, that's not what it is for me. Paragon is Paragon. All right. The differences are enough for me to not consider Vintage Radio. Okay. But I totally understand someone that's smelling Vintage Radio and be like, look, man, it's good enough. It's in the 80 to 85 percentile range, I think. I should have brought Paragon out. But yeah, it's in the 80 to 85% percentile. Like I said, it smells good. It's fruity. The plum is there. The woods are there. I still get this kind of ambery vanilla approach to this, especially in the immediate opening, especially. Definitely some, you know, some spice tones, some spicy, like, I want to say black pepper, but maybe like a little dustiness of like a black pepper spice. I don't know. Yeah, this is in like the 85% close. Really, really good. If I had to rate it out the chute just for a standalone, I'll give it an 8 out of a 10. Yeah, 7.9, 8 out of a 10. Like I said, this is way more sweeter, almost kind of candied sweet with the vintage radio. You don't get that with Paragon. But again, I understand it. I get it. And I'm glad that I tried it. I will say, you know, that the vintage radio, it's probably going to be a little bit more appealing to maybe the younger, my younger audience, you know, who, you know, my Smell Good family members who are looking for that sweet, like, approach to a fragrance. You want an overly sweet fragrance. This is in that vein. The plum and the woods, like I said, really starting to kind of mellow out here. It's really starting to get itself together. Probably as it goes to the dry down, you know, it probably leans, you know, more into maybe that 90 percentile, you know, because from the opening into the mid, about 85%. But as it gets into the dry down, probably, and I'll report back to y'all, it probably gets closer to 90% just with the dry down between this and Paragon. But ultimately good. Huge bang for your buck, you know, if you're going to go vintage radio over Paragon for sure. And really, the blend is nice. Quality is decent. You're not getting shortchanged in a negative way whatsoever with vintage radio. You get this fragrance and you're going to smell good, and there's, you know, you're not going to have a bad experience. I mean, just to be real, I think it's a really, really good take on Paragon, but there are some differences there, and we already talked about those. And I don't, like I said, I'm not swaying nobody to go get your niche fragrance over your clone. I'm not into that. You know, I believe in people doing what they want to do. Now, I am an appreciation of the art, and I get it. I do have clones at the same time, and I've taught clones, and I will continue to have conversations. And thank God for websites like Clone Decanted that allow me to get these samples and join the conversation. All right, that's really what I want to do, is join the conversation. But I'm always going to go the OG over the clone. I'm always going to take Paragon over vintage radio. But you're not wrong if you're like, you can keep that one, bro. I'm going to go with vintage radio. You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. So good stuff here from the House of Lattafa, vintage radio. I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. About 85% close to Initials Paragon. Really good stuff. Good quality, good blend, and you're not gonna be disappointed. And just think again, as it's you know, we're gonna wrap this up here, but as it's kind of still doing this thing off my skin, the main thing that I pick up is there is something sweet in this vintage radio that is making it more of a sweeter profile than I get with the Paragon. Yeah, but you're talking oodles and noodles, apples and oranges at this point. You know what I mean? But good stuff. Affordable, good. I understand the conversation. I get it now, and I understand. All right. So there you have it. There's my take on vintage radio, the comparisons to Paragon. Nice work from Lattafa. Lattafa has some incredible bang for your buck options for sure that smell really, really good. And I get it. You know, you make the decision on how you want to spend your money. And at the end of the day, are you smelling good and you're feeling good? That's all that matters, because, you know, at the end of the day, if somebody say, hey, bro, you smell good, and you got on vintage radio and I got on Paragon, they tell us the same thing. That means we both smell good. That doesn't mean his vintage radio versus my Paragon or vice versa. That's childish if you ask me. But anyway, good stuff. Hopefully y'all like this episode of What's in the Bag. And we're going to keep it going. I have this pack here. I can tell y'all some of the stuff in here. I got Rebel 9 PM. We got Liquid Broom. We got Liam Gray. I think that's what it's called. Liam Gray. After the 9 p.m. Rebel. We got that. And what else y'all wanted me? French Avenue. Spectre Ghost. Y'all wanted me to smell that. Liam Gray from Lattafa. Y'all wanted me to smell that. So we got 4 more that we're going to be doing. We might do them one after another. So we'll see. But again, shout out to Clone Decanted. I have the information down below. Shout out to BT. I think his name is BT Sense. Shout out to him as well for putting me on. All right. So clonedecanted.ca. Y'all check him out. I know clones are already affordable, but I think this little 2 ml was like $3 or something like that. $3 or $4 maybe for a 2 ml. I just sprayed it that one time and got the use of it that I'm gonna need it for. So yeah, shout out to them. All right, y'all. Till next time, be cool, be safe, take care of yourself. Positive energy, it's positive vibes only. Splack it up, splack it down, splack it that thing all around. And remember, what you put out to this world, that's exactly what you are going to get back. Appreciate y'all, man. Peace. See y'all on the next go round. Splacker.